Michael Kugelman joins me now to talk more about this. He is Deputy Director of the Asia Program at the Wilson Center. Michael, welcome. Great to have you with us. First off, what are the expectations President Biden and President Ghani have going into this meeting? What are the key things both sides want?
Well, I think that for President Ghani, what he's going to be looking for more than anything else is reassurance. Reassurance of continued U.S. diplomatic support for what is a very fragile peace process in Afghanistan. And Ghani is also going to be looking for reassurance from President Biden that U.S. financial assistance for the Afghan military will continue. And that is critical for Afghanistan, just because financial aid for the Afghan military is a lifeline. It's heavily dependent on foreign assistance. And that foreign assistance to pay for equipment for the military and salaries for foot soldiers, that's essential. I think that Ghani will also be hoping to get some type of commitment from President Biden to try to at least slow down the pace of the withdrawal just a little bit. But in terms of what Ghani and Abdullah will be doing, they will try to present a common front and convince President Biden that despite all of the dysfunction and the divisions within the Afghan government, that the Afghan government is prepared to resume peace talks if they're ever to start again.
And Ghani's administration is not popular in Afghanistan. Why is that? And how is this visit to Washington being received back home? What could it mean for his government moving forward, especially as we know the Taliban is taking over more regions vacated by U.S. troops?
Yeah, I mean, the Afghan government is unpopular because of perceptions of corruption and an inability to provide basic services, and above everything else, an inability to provide security. Many Afghans believe that one of the main reasons why the Taliban has been able to do such a great job is that you don't have good coordination and management between the Afghan government and the Afghan military to deal with the insurgency. And indeed, the optics of Ashraf Ghani leaving Afghanistan to come to the U.S. at a moment when Afghanistan is experiencing an unprecedented assault by the Taliban, those optics are not very good at all. And what's significant here is that President Ghani didn't just come himself to the U.S. He came with much of his cabinet, his vice president, his national security advisor, his foreign minister. And so I think that the fact that he's been here for 2 days, it's not going to play well back home for sure. But clearly he knew that this visit was very important. He wanted to be able to bring home that commitment from President Biden that the U.S. is not abandoning Afghanistan and that the aid and the assistance, the support, all of that will continue.
So he does have a lot riding on this visit. What more can you tell us about the Biden administration's plan to evacuate tens of thousands of Afghan interpreters and others who worked with the U.S. forces during the war? Is that something that, the current Afghan administration supports? Because it does seem a little bit like abandoning a sinking ship.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly, Afghanistan's government would prefer that, the best and the brightest, so to speak, stay in Afghanistan. But I think there's an acknowledgement that these people need help, that their lives are in danger. They've received repeated threats from the Taliban. And I think that this is something that the U.S. has to do. It has to help these interpreters and others that work directly with the U.S. military. It needs to help them get out. It's the Afghanistan policy situation is so complex, but this is an easy move for the Biden administration. It needs to move mountains, do whatever is necessary to get around the administrative and the bureaucratic red tape, and get these people and their families, hopefully, out of Afghanistan. The Taliban has issued statements saying that so long as these people no longer work with the U.S., they'll be safe remaining in Afghanistan. But based on the Taliban's track record, these Afghans that have worked with the U.S., they're not going to trust those statements. They are going to remain very concerned.
Michael Kugelman, thank you so much for sharing your insight into Afghanistan politics with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.